What's up, outdoor addicts? So recently I decided I wanted to build some more tree stands, and I built one a few years ago out of wood with the full ladder on it, and I just decided I wanted a hang-on style. So I was on YouTube looking around see if there was any tutorials, and I noticed there really aren't any on there. And the one video there is, it's not really instructional, it just kind of shows you how he put it together. There's a few steel ones as well, but you know, no steps to doing it. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys the dimensions of the wood I use. This is all prime cut treated lumber. It's about 367 a board, and they're in 8-foot boards. But before I give you the dimensions, here's a look at the finished product. Okay, so now look at the measurements. Starting off here to my left, we're going to need 4 16-inch pieces, 2 22-inch pieces, a 16-inch piece with a 45 on each side, 2 more 16-inch pieces. However, these 16s are going to have 145 on one of their sides, 2 8 1/4-inch pieces with a 45 on one side, 9-inch piece, 2 12-inch pieces, 2 5 1/4, 1 6 1/2 with a 45 on each side, a 17 1/2 with a 45 on each side. Lastly is the back of the stand. This is going to have your seat, footrest on it. It's going to be 34 inches long. Now that you have all the measurements, we're going to go ahead and start putting it together step by step. Okay, to start out, we're going to need our 2 12-inch pieces and our 2 5 1/4-inch pieces. This is going to form the seat. Okay, make sure that you take the 5 1/4-inch pieces and they're in between the 2 12-inch pieces. If they're in the front of them, the seat's going to be super narrow like that. It's just going to be terrible. So put it on the outside like this. I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill them, put the screws in it, form the seat, and then we'll come back from there. Okay, so now that I got my seat and everything drilled together here, I'm going to go ahead and take my 9-inch piece, which is this one right here, and we're going to just tap it right in here. Make it flush with the top of here because this is going to be where you're sitting. Okay, now that my seat is flush up against there, I'm going to go ahead and drill 1 screw on each side here, 2 on the front here. That'll hold that piece in good. We'll go from there. Alright, now that we got this piece screwed into the seat here, there should be a little slot here. We're going to go ahead and take our 34-inch back piece and we're going to slide it in here flush to the front right here. This is where you're going to be sitting, so you don't want that protruding at all. This does need to be lined up center if you want your stand to be precise and things like that. Now for this, we are going to take, well, let me talk a little about hardware. We're using 5/16 bolts. You need 5 inches at a minimum. 5 to 6 will work. 6 will be a little bit tight up in underneath the seat here, but it'll still work. Anyway, I got a 5 1/2 right here because they ran out of 5 at Home Depot. We're going to take our 5/16 inch drill bit, drill it through here, drill it through this post, and then we're going to go ahead and put this bolt through here. I'm using washers on each side and nylon lock nut. So I'll go ahead and get that done. Alright, now I got that drilled and I got the nut started. We're going to go ahead and tighten this up. I go ahead and take a 5/16 socket. I'll put that on one side of it. Then I'll take an adjustable wrench like this. Get it lined up in there. Alright, we got that bolt tightened and everything. We're going to go ahead and take our square and make sure that this backrest is even with the seat. Okay, so go in here. I know that I need to pull this top over a little bit. Alright, that looks about good. Now I'll pre-drill. I'll do about 2 or 3 more screws back here. Just the standard 3 1/2 inch screws I was using before. If you don't do that, obviously, you know, one bolt, it's going to be turning side to side as it loosens up. So we'll go ahead and throw those in there, go from there. Alright, it's time to put together our floor now. I set aside the seat and the main post. So to start, take your two 22-inch pieces here, put them wide, and we have 4 of these 16-inch pieces. Now to do this for the back, this piece, the 16-inch piece, needs to go on the inside, just like we did for the seat. The longer pieces will be on the outside. So this will go on the inside here. We'll screw it to the back like that. Now, once that's in there, I only have 3 more 16-inch pieces going across here. So if you kind of put it together, there's going to be pretty good sized gaps, and it'll be a lot worse if you put the front one flush like that too. Since the front one doesn't have to hook through right here, you can actually just put this one like this and start it at the front like that. It gives you an extra couple inches this way, then you can gap them out like that. So I'll go ahead and get all those drilled together and show you what it looks like. Okay, I've now completed the base. Back, you see the front, that piece is put on there like that, so it's not going across the whole front. Covering it, that gives you more of a surface area on top to stand on. These are decent size gaps here in between these 2x4s. However, you're in hunting boots, you're in the stand, your foot's not falling through those holes, no way. Anyway, now take our main beam here, and you're going to measure down exactly 16 3/8 inches. Yes, that's very precise. 16 3/8. Alright, once you have that measured, you can take your platform here and slide it in there. I'm going to go ahead and line that up. Once I line this up, I am going to drill one hole through the center of it and put one of those 5/16 bolts. After I do that, we'll be right back. Alrighty, now as you can see, this goes side to side, and that's not what you want. So we go ahead, take our square again. Go ahead and line it up there. A little bit to this side. Good, now we go ahead, take and shoot 3 or 4 screws in the back of this here, and that'll keep it stable. Alright, now that we got this back here drilled on, we're going to go ahead to the front here. Take this little 6.5 inch piece with a 45 on each side, line it up in the middle here, put it on. I put the screws from the back going in, coming up in it, and you can't see the screws, so they're hidden. After we do that, which I already have that done, we're going to take this piece over here, 17.5, and if I did all this correctly, this should line up right in here. Perfect. That'll line up right on here with your 45 on the bottom of this 7.5, and it lines up right in the top there. So we'll go ahead and get that screwed in, we'll go from there. Alrighty, so after we got done putting this piece on here, we're going to go ahead and take our, I believe this is 16, 45 on each side, and if you did this correctly, it should line up flush on the bottom here, and it should line up flush on this beam here. Now this beam here, this middle beam here that it's connected to, you need to make sure that that's at the right length down. About 6 inches from the top of here. I don't know if you can see that or not. 6 inches from this board up here down to the top of this, 6 inches, and this will line up perfectly. Alright, so we'll go ahead and screw those together. We'll go from there. Alrighty, so I went ahead and finished up putting this on here, and you take your last 4 pieces of wood, which were, they all had 45s on them. The 2 smaller ones are 8 1/4 inches. I went ahead and threw them on the front up here, and I put the 16-inch ones on the back here. 45-degree angles pointing in. You see that? See that there? The 45s pointing in. Those are what's going to grab the tree. Now, for the distance, I stuck these out. I always measure everything from the main beam here, so the back ones are 3.5 inches out from the main beam, and the front ones are about 3. So I put about a 1/2 inch further out on the back. That's going to give us just a slight micro tilt backwards, and you're in the tree. That just guarantees that you're not going to be slanted downward, which is very uncomfortable holding yourself up there. But you really won't feel the slant back. It'll just feel pretty much level. So now that everything's done on this, we're going to go ahead and spray paint it, and I'll show you how that all goes. So as far as spray painting goes, I start off with a base color like this. It's hard to tell, but once it's on the wood, you'll be able to see. I start off with this, and I shade the entire thing, every part of it, with this one greenish color. Then I'll come over with some browns and a little bit darker greens and blend it all together. So I'll go ahead and start base coating it. Alright, for the final step, as you can see, I already pretty much did to this one. You just take a darker color or 2 of the spray paint, and you just go across it and make lines to finish the camouflage job. So once you do that, you're pretty much done, and that's it. I'll go ahead and get my couple of stands together, and we'll take a look. Alright guys, these are the 2 stands I made in the past couple of days. They didn't take me too long to make, probably about 1.5 hours each, and they're really solid. I've already tried them out in the tree and stuff, and they seem like they're going to work pretty good, hold up for a lot of years, and I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful, and you guys can make some really nice stands and get many, many years of use out of them. Thanks guys.
Any accidents or injuries are caused while working, building, standing, using, or anything of the sort, I am not responsible for that. Thank you. Have a great day, guys.
But I want to, and I don't want to steal your freedom. I don't want to change your mind. I don't have to make you love me. I just want to take your time. I don't